company.
It's breezy.
Running. Working on myself, I need to shine. Shorty falling in love with a star. Nike on my kicks, I need a ball. Missing on that ass, I got a call. Baby, come and tell me, would you ride with me? Ride with me. Maybe you could talk to me. Anything, baby, would you shine with me? Side with me. Girl, I know it's dangerous, I need your company. Baby, tell me, would you ride with me? Ride with me. Maybe you could talk to me. Anything, baby, would
brothers and sisters, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, males and females, and also the LGBTQI plus community, welcome to yet another episode of Nick D Conversations. I'm your host, Nicholas. Follow me there on Instagram. It is at Nico_Nicholas to stay updated on the upcoming episodes and updates of the channel itself. We are also on TikTok and Facebook. On TikTok and Facebook, it is just at Nick D Conversations. And for those who do not have any of the social media platforms mentioned above, even if you do have them, please do join our WhatsApp channel. The link is in the bio so that we do not leave anyone out. I would just like for you guys to bear with me in terms of the audio. We couldn't manage to put the microphone on the deputy president as he was addressing the campus. So don't be mad at me if like the audio, maybe it has glitches there and there or something, but hopefully you do enjoy the episodes. I did try by all means to get the best audio quality that I possibly could. Please do subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. In terms of the commenting part, it's very important because I need you guys to comment any questions that you have regarding the state of the campus address or any other thing that you would like to comment on that will be mentioned in the address. So do let me know in the comments. It is very important because we are going to have an interview with the deputy president where he will address the questions which I will take from the comment sections and ask him in the interview. And then after the debrief, we are going to call people from different student political parties of the University of the Free State to have a debate regarding the state of the campus address and also the what is it, why am I forgetting it, and also the upcoming elections. So do make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. You are not at the wrong place. You are here at Nick D Conversation, and I'm presenting to you the state of campus address. Shout out.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Thank you so much for availing yourselves. I would like to, for the SRC, we thank you so much for your presence today, and it's such an honor to see people coming out in numbers. We know others left to RSVP for the State of Campus Address. My name is Nomsa Mimane. I'm the CSRC Secretary for the BFM for the term 2023-2024. I'd like to extend a special thanks to our SOC Acting President, my fellow SRC members, SGO staff, associations, organizations, our guests, residences, influencers. Yes, I'd like to extend our special thanks. The State of Campus Address is an important tradition where we discuss our challenges, future developments, future plans, and as well as our vision for the remaining period. Today, the acting president will discuss key accomplishments for the past month, address pressing matters, and outline the goals for the month remaining. Yes, we encourage everyone to actively engage, ask questions during the Q&A session, and share their thoughts with us. Thank you so much. I'd like to officially open the State of Campus Address. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Nomsa Mimane, for that welcoming. Just to rubber stamp on it, I wish everyone feels welcome at this point in time. I hope we're going to have a fruitful engagement and you're going to be able to understand how far the SRC has came with their vision throughout the year. But without wasting any time, I wish to call upon the main speaker of today, the keynote addresser, the acting president, Musa Masondo. Thanks so much.
Wene Mandela, wene Madikize la kwa wene Mandela, wenu isoja Zio mama zio Cho mama cho Ewanyishie zatene mala Ewanyishie zitato mama Ulele jibo Emakolewe sawa
Thank you so much to the acting President General for the slogan, kind of uplifted our spirit. And thank you so much, Program Director, and thank you, the Secretary, for welcoming us. I hope I'm audible enough. So I don't know whether to start by beginning by thanking you for your patience or apologizing for everything that happened today. But as I here today, my spirit is very low after what happened to myself and my team. Perhaps to you too, and all the people who are looking up to your attendance of this event today. So I'll just lay the truth as bare as it is. Early in June, after examinations, I sent an email to SGO telling them that I want to host a state of the campus address. I tell them that my vision, and immediately they respond to my email committing that they are going to support me to make sure that it's realized. We bring in different departments of the university. I'm talking about ICT, your DCM, everyone comes to play their role. And we're very excited that we're going to deliver a very qualitative state of the campus address. Until the 11th hour, when I'm called and told that a protection service is just barged in to lock the venue that we booked, I don't know how long ago. We try to fight while they closing the venue, and while they give us this one, another message goes to the ICT team to tell them that the event is cancelled before even cancelling it ourselves. So everyone that we booked for sound is left. Our lighting people, your video that was supposed to be airing on YouTube, I know that you know that the link was already on YouTube awaiting this live. Everyone is left. So this also explains the reason why I'm dressed like this. It's not to disrespect you in any way. I had my clothes ironed out very nicely. My shirt is very white, wherever it is, but Even this blazer is itching on myself right now. I have a lot of theories about why what is happening, but I don't think you can speculate right now. But what then gives me hope is that I'm sure many of you know that as you are here, you were handpicked to be present in this venue because we believe that whatever message we have for the students will be disseminated qualitatively through you, of course. So in this undying spirit of Mlungisi Madonsela and all the other heroes that have fallen to make sure that their voices are heard is the reason why I'm here, because for many minutes or other times today I was just like, colleagues, let's cancel and see whatever we do. But colleagues said, no, we need to do this. Acting president, Luvevin advised me to wear this blazer because I wouldn't. And the worst part is that I think for people who know me, they know that I'm very radical in my tone. But given the support that the university was expressing, I had to change down my speech a lot of times so that they accommodate the type of platforms we're going to use. Because even DCM, that's Department of Communications and Marketing, it come to play saying that it will support the speech, but then it so happened today, everything that happened, and we find ourselves in this. Nonetheless, I think I'll just present what I came to present to you, and then hopefully we'll be able to disseminate it qualitatively to students after this address. So firstly, I'd like to begin by recognizing the presence of the SRC members from different portfolio offices. Extend my gratitude to all the stakeholders who offered their support. The student leaders representing various campus structures and all students who may be currently tuning into this program as we speak, for those who are live. I warmly welcome each and every one of you. My name is Musa Masondo, the SRC Deputy President. However, I have assumed the role of acting president following the unfortunate and untimely departure of Aqola Dores, who was charged by the disciplinary units of the institution, leading to his suspension. Nevertheless, the work must continue. Transparency and accountability have been embraced as the cornerstone and hallmark of the Bloemfontein SRC 2023-2024 administration. Today's proceedings mark a significant step in this direction. Beyond mere transparency and accountability, our goal is to engage all leadership structures on campus actively in shaping advocacy and decision-making processes, rather than passively receiving directives from the SRC as the highest student leadership body on campus. We welcome constructive criticism and productive contributions from all represented constituencies after the address. Without delving too much into governance philosophy, let's get to the business of the day. So our agenda looks as following. 1, we'll speak on student finance, followed by the recent developments in the higher education sector, student safety, particularly off-campus safety, off-campus accommodation, academics, challenges in the student advocacy on campus, development and review of institutional policies, recreational activities and social cohesion programs, community outreach, and lastly, announcements. So on student finance, it gives us a pleasure today to announce that the university will continue to distribute meal allowances for the remainder of the year. This decision follows after the dismissal with cause by the Western Cape High Court of the urgent application by SOCA for an interim order to interdict NSFAS from reviewing and terminating its contract in accordance with the recommendations of the Worksman reports of 2023, which deemed it irregular along with the rest of the direct payment service providers. The elimination of SOCA as a middleman and the reinstatement of the university as the distributor were key points in the 2023 SRC campaign promises. This success was achieved through collaboration among various stakeholders who are concerned about government's use of taxpayers' money and the well-being of students in general. Therefore, we extend our gratitude to all universities, political formations, entities such as AUTA, SIU, and USAF for their continuous advocacy for the review of the direct payment strategy implemented by NSFAS. As it stands, SOCA is no more until further notice. The current agreement for the university to disperse allowances over the next 4 months may continue until perhaps a new direct payment strategy is proposed. There is a possibility for a collaboration with major commercial banks, but we are awaiting formal communication on this. Subsequently, on the recent developments in the education sector, we may address the appointment of the new minister to the portfolio of education. But firstly, we welcome the departure of former Minister Dr. Blaine Zimande, whose legacy in the department can be a matter of debate. But we wish him well on his future endeavors. We are cautiously optimistic about the appointment of the new minister, Nobuhle Nkabane. While a background as a tutor at UNISA and a previous role as a deputy minister in the Department of Energy and Mineral Resources provides some insight into experience, We look forward to seeing how she will lead the Department of Higher Education. Our hope is that the Minister Nkabane will prioritize the well-being of students and the success during her tenure. We remain hopeful as we keep her in our thoughts and prayers. The removal of SOCA as a middleman last semester had a significant impact on reducing chaos on campus, although a new set of challenges did emerge. One of the major issues that arose was off-campus safety, which tragically resulted in the loss of at least 2 students, Simbonile and Masikole, may their souls rest in peace. In response to this tragedy, the SRC worked closely with Protection Service and other relevant stakeholders to enhance safety measures. This included a thorough review of the Protection Service of campus safety strategy, leading to an increase in the patrol vehicles deployed in student communities, the empowerment of off-campus safety organizations such as CPFs and others, the propping up of the private security service providers, which is excellent in this case, and the SRC even went on to fund a bus during exam seasons to ensure that students' academic pursuits were not hindered by crime. Our collaborative efforts with Protection Service will continue to address various safety concerns, including a focus on student safety in the Willows area, which assessments have concluded that it's a high-risk area, especially due to its nature and the activities that go on there. We aim to engage with key stakeholders in that area to ensure that measures for round-the-clock safety for students are taken and implemented. A regular update on these initiatives will be provided to the campus community. Off-campus students not only suffered the bad fate of crime, but there was also the issue of exploitation by accommodation service providers who have taken advantage of students financially. In response, SRC communities have strategically strengthened relations with internal stakeholders such as the Law Clinic and external stakeholders including the Rental Housing Tribunal and Landlords Association, among others. This collaboration aims to ensure fair treatment and ethical business practice for students as consumers in the accommodation market. The SRC has also taken proactive measures to address other extreme unfair business practice in the accommodation issues, such as when a prominent accommodation service provider attempted to overcharge students for electricity outside of their contractual agreement without providing improved services, piling up on top of many unresolved health and safety issues. The SRC intervened swiftly and decisively, effectively reversing the exploitative ambitions of the service provider. Currently, we are addressing the fraudulent displacement of students by KPA. By actively engaging with the service provider and provide feedback to students once our discussions have concluded. We are committed to resolving this issue and also considering the upcoming deadline for PA applications, which is the 31st of July. Please allow me to revert back and touch a bit on student student finance issues. At the start of the academic year, during registration period, the SRC successfully negotiated various financial concessions. This allowed students who owed up to 100,000 rands in historic debts to be provisionally registered on a case-by-case basis. However, due to numerous instances of maladministration by NSFAS, the first semester concluded with some students still awaiting funding, putting them at the risk of financial exclusion. The SRC promptly addressed this issue, ensuring that students who had not received clarity from NSFAS regarding their funding were not and will not be deregistered. Additionally, efforts are underway to assist non-NSFAS beneficiaries as the deregistration period has been extended and discussions with financial aid are ongoing. Another challenge we faced was the implementation of the NSFAS Missing Middle loan scheme. Despite opposition from key stakeholders in the higher education sector, this scheme has only added to the frustrations of students it was meant to support as their funding remains uncertain. The SRC continues to actively seek clarity and solutions to address this issue and incompetence. Okay. And then another challenge that we have financially is of the students who did their higher certificate studies twice. Despite our effort to address this issue, we often find ourselves taking 10 steps backward. However, it's worth noting that progress has been made through a case-by-case approach adopted by the SRC and financial aid. Some students in this cohort have received funding and we are committed to continuing our efforts. I will be meeting with the financial aid next week to review more cases. Therefore, I encourage all students in this category who have not yet received their funding to reach out to me so that we can consider their situations individually. On the academic front, perhaps as an advocate structure ourselves, it may be important to address firstly the issue of faculty-student councils. Unfortunately, the SRC remains in the dark about the recent elections process which stalled at the results phase. Both students and faculties have expressed concern about the absence of the structure, which plays a vital role. We're actively seeking clarity in the resolution on this matter, but our efforts have not yielded results thus far. The assessment exams have commenced for eligible students. With special exams, final students will be granted 2 opportunities to retake exams for modules failed in each semester. The decision was recently approved by the General Rules Committee. Advocacy on campus has been a significant focus of attention recently. The rational suspension of President Akola Toto, which sent shockwaves across the campus, was not the only issue causing concern. Multiple student structures were denied recognition after submitting the applications, leading to negative impact on various student processes. One such process affected was the SRC constitutional review, which was surrounded by controversy and lacked the democratic and student representation it needed. Additionally, the student parliament could not be launched due to the delegation process collapse caused by student leaders who were rightfully questioning the denial of their recognition by SGO. However, the SRC collaborated with many of the student structures and appeals processes were initiated and have now been successfully concluded. This means that these structures will now actively participate in representing their constituents, and processes such as student parliament can finally be launched. The SRC is eager to continue working alongside the student structures for the remainder of the term, ensuring that student voices are heard and represented effectively on campus. The SRC has also successfully organized a variety of recreational activities that not only provide opportunities for leisure but also promote social cohesion among students. From hosting the Rugby World Cup screenings to organizing the Spirit Cup and various other events, the SRC has been dedicated to creating a vibrant and inclusive campus community. In the realm of sports, the SRC has seen great success with different sport teams participating in the annual USA Winter Championships. A significant milestone has been achieved with the inclusion of female rugby and male netball in the annual University Sport Championships, reflecting the SRC sports commitment to gender equality and equity. Furthermore, the SRC is proud to announce that 75 students will be representing Team South Africa in the Coxa Region 5 games in Pretoria, competing against other nations in international tournaments. This is a statement to the talent and dedication of our student athletes. While SRC has made significant progress in providing recreational and social cohesion opportunities, there is still room for improvement, particularly in better including commuter students in student affairs activities. The SRC acknowledges this and is committed to enhancing inclusivity for all students for the remainder of the term. The SRC remains dedicated to fostering a sense of community and providing diverse opportunity for students to engage in recreational activities and sport. We look forward to continuing to support and empower our student body in the pursuit of their passions and interests. Community outreach plays a vital role in bridging the gap between the university and the larger society. The university, like the society, is not immune to challenges, and it is our responsibility to address them. Under the leadership of Maboshe Mabasa, the Office of Civil and Social Responsibility has been actively involved in various outreach programs aimed at improving the situations in our communities. These initiatives include clothing donation drives, yard improvements, and soup kitchens, among many others, to support those especially in need. Not only have these drives made a positive impact on the community, but they've also strengthened the university's connection with local residents. Moving forward, the office has exciting initiatives planned for this Women's Month to address the patriarchal elements still prevalent in our society. Additionally, efforts to combat substance abuse are being approached in innovative and creative ways, with more details to be shared in the near future. In terms of policy development and reviews, it is crucial that those affected by policies are consulted in the decision-making process. This is in line with the university's guidelines for policy formulation, development, and review. The SRC has been actively involved in advocating for policies that benefit students. While there have been instances where the SRC felt that students were not genuinely consulted but just used to check boxes, successful collaborations such as the student mental health policy have demonstrated the importance of students' input. The SRC will continue to work closely with departments, providing valuable insights and mobilizing students to ensure that their voices are heard in shaping policies that impact them. We have recently received the news of Professor Peterson's departure as the Vice Chancellor to pursue new opportunities at the University of Pretoria. We extend our best wishes to him and look forward to the appointment of the new Vice Chancellor and Principal of our institution. It is crucial that the new leader can effectively steer the university towards global ambitions while upholding its reputation and maintaining order across all aspects of the institution. So, in the limited time available, I have attempted to provide a brief update on the progress made during the first semester and outline what lies ahead for our administration until the new leadership assumes their role following the conclusion of the SRC elections towards the end of August. Our goal is to ensure a smooth and productive semester characterized by academic excellence, diverse opportunities, and enriching experiences for students. We are committed to addressing any issue that may arise and working collaboratively with student leaders and the wider student body to achieve our shared objectives. This commitment is unwavering and will continue to prioritize the needs and concerns of our students. I would like to conclude here and express my gratitude for your attention and support. The announcement that I heard though is that CTL was once again granted permission to continue supporting non-NSFAS missing neatly extended students only with study material in the form of a laptop. Therefore, laptops for identified registered students for 2024 across all 3 campuses have been procured. The following dates were identified and will be for the distribution. And from the 29th of July to the 1st of August, they will be distributed in the Kwakwa campus. And then for the Bloemfontein campus, it will be the 6th to the 8th of August. And lastly, for the sub-campus, it will be the 14th of August. The laptop distribution will only be carried out on identified and mentioned dates above. So qualifying registered students identified based on the 2024 registration data will receive individual communication per campus. Any inquiries regarding this distribution may be directed to material.access@ufs.ac.za. I thank you.
Thank you so much, President, for that very fruitful engagement with us. I think everyone is captured. So now going forward, we're going to move into the last bit of our agenda for today, which is the Q&A session. So before we jump straight into that, we'll just go through a few ground rules and then we'll just take it from there. All right, so the rules are simple. I think we're all leaders here, so by now we have a firm understanding of how such engagements happen. Rule number 1, participants must raise their hand and be acknowledged by the facilitator, which is myself, before speaking. No one is allowed to speak without being recognized by the facilitator. Respect must be maintained when raising your questions or making comments. Any disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated within this venue. There will be 2 rounds of questions. Each round there'll be 2 rounds of questions, each round with 3 questions. And then of course 1 more round for follow-up questions, but however determined by the amount of time we have left. All the questions must be directed to the President as the accounting officer of the SRC. Questions that are portfolio specific can be asked after the event, or you just go to the SRC's office and just inquire further with regards to this specific portfolio. But any question you ask today must be directed to the President and must be in line with what was spoken of today. And lastly, failure to consistently comply with the above mentioned rules will result in the individual being asked politely to excuse us from the venue. So without wasting any further time, I hope that is in order. I will be taking our first round of questions. We have 1. We have 1 question. We have question number 2. And we have question number 3 for our first round of questions in that order.
Good afternoon, my name is Seko and I'm from Oxy Powers. I have two questions for our president. Number one, there are students that receive SMSs that their second semester studies will not be suspended. However, 600 will be deducted from their allowances. So I want to know from you, do you think it's fair for the university to do that, considering that already that the allowance that they get is not enough for them to have access to food and other essential expenses? This other question that I have is in regard to student safety. With the upcoming test and exam season, will the SRC still provide the bus or the shuttle, especially considering that excellent security stopped their escorting services? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Next.
Thank you so much, Chair. My name is Waruna Selin Tapedi. I'm a student here at the university. My chairperson of the session, it comes to the students who were provincially accepted or funded. What is the plan of the SRC? Because we saw that majority of them are going to be excluded. So we want to know if the SRC have any sponsors or funders who are willing to pay for those students, as we have seen in other universities that they have achieved that when it comes to sponsors. I think my second question, Chair, I was captured when it comes to the student safety, but I would really like to thank the commuter and the whole SRC when it comes to the exam drive. We were part of it, they did a great job. But Chair, I would really like the SRC to look into the issue of excellent. Excellent, it is paid by the university. And they started in a very good path when they were escorting us off-campus students. So now that it's been stopped, we would like the commuter and the whole SRC to look into that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next.
Thank you very much, Sir Omkabi. Mine is just too short. My name is Andres Alfonso. I'm visiting the student community. I just wanted to ask, many of the questions that I was going to ask, they were covered by the previous leaders there. So I just wanted to ask, what are the measures that you as the SRC are addressing the systematic inequalities that exist within our campus or the education system here, and also particularly in terms of funding and access to resources?
All right, no, thank you so much. That will conclude our first round of questions. And I'll call upon the President to just come and respond accordingly, and then we'll take our second round of questions.
Thank you so much, Program Director, and thank all of you for those constructive questions. So I'll start with the question of 600 allowances. I'll speak in my political nature. I think we all agree and we all know how much of a capitalist university the University of Free State is. What comes first is the financial flow before any other thing. Therefore, the exclusions were happening in a very brutal manner. However, to kill the elephant, sometimes you won't be able to collapse it all at once. You do a piece by piece. Therefore, that's how we are then able to kind of tone down the brutality the university was approaching these registrations with. Because at first they were just registering everyone, not caring about circumstances. So firstly, we spoke on the NSFAS issues, but some students, it's not their fault that they are not able to pay. Their funding still remains unclear. And then perhaps the 600 then comes from there. So it's, as I did mention earlier when I was speaking, that it's still an ongoing process, it's still ongoing negotiations, but we're really trying to collapse the elephant. So now it's one bite at a time. So the stance of 600, of course, we are completely against it. But sometimes when you are going to war, if you're able to win just a bit, you take it and go home, and then go to plan further on how you're going to win more when going back to the battlefield. So I think it must be on record that we don't agree with the university taking from the already limited allowances from students, and we're not just not agreeing, folding our arms, but to continue to try and engage the university. And if engagements fail, of course, we shall then meet on the ground. And secondly, the question was about whether the bus shuttle will continue to exist during this semester, if I may. Now, the bus project was piloted for the first time ever, at least since I arrived. So now, to pilot such a project, you need strong backing rationale on why you think it will succeed, and for the university to even deploy resources to it. But then what's exciting is that when we implemented the project, we made it to be very evidence-based. So right now we do have numbers that do indicate that students do need the service and it was successful, students did use the services. So now that we're not only using a rationale but we have scientific data to show that it's actually a need in the university, we will then continue to advocate that the so-called care principle in the Vision 130 continues to find expression by the past coming back this semester and hopefully for the rest of the SRC administrations that will ever take office. So it was a pilot project that has never been done before. We had nothing to reference to and it was initialized by us. But then I think the scientific part of it, gathering numbers and making sure that we do it as practical as possible will assist us in ensuring that it comes back again this semester. But also I think what may also be important and worth noting is that as a SRC, our role is advocacy and not really decision making. That's why whenever we try to do things, we try to gather as much data as possible so that the data can support our advocacy initiatives. But we'll still continue to advocate and fight if we have to, so that the student safety is prioritized, especially that PASS initiative continues and becomes a legacy project. Okay, the third question was on initiatives to assist students who have been deregistered, just like all other universities do fundraise for deregistered students. So the SRC did release a statement in June that there is a bursary program that they've initiated, which I believe that they will then continue to communicate more on it. And then there was a question about excellent services and no longer doing escorts. That is something that we still have to take up with protection services, and we ensure that the additional because in our meetings last semester, the agreement was that they were going to deploy additional vehicles to ensure that all places are covered, and then they then do the escorting process. So then it has to still be tabled with the protection service to find out that where did our agreement then reach that end. And then lastly, the question of systematic injustices, you will pardon my ignorance if it is, but it sounds very philosophical, especially when we find ourselves in the university like the University of the Free State, because it's historical, it's a legacy of colonialism and apartheid, and it continues to bite us even today. It's still a ravaging beast. I would even think that whatever happened today is part of these historic or systematic injustices that are happening on campus. But one thing I can commit to is that there's no defeat we've ever accepted lying down. And perhaps to stretch it a bit more, I would say we've never been defeated. So it's a very broad question for me, because it doesn't speak to specific systematic injustices that have happened. But then we do know that overall there are still systematic injustices that are still prevalent. And of course, bit by bit, we're fighting the elephant as we hope that even the succeeding SRC will continue where we left off. So I think to some certain point my answers are satisfactory. Problem Director.
No, thank you so much, Deputy President, also Acting President. I think we've reached the conclusion of the first round of questions, so we just want to jump straight into the second round of questions, and hopefully we want to get as much engagement as the first round of questions. So without wasting time, we'll take our first hand for the second round of questions. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Platforms like this don't come every day. Yes, thank you so much, Leadership from Acacia. We have one hand. Any other hand? We're with leaders, so we're expecting this. Hand. Another hand. We'll take our brother there in the black jacket. Without wasting any time, we have a hand follow-up. It's a follow-up. Oh yeah, we'll have a follow-up round just after this round. Is it fine? All right. So I'm assuming you noted that order. Perhaps one more hand, maybe somewhere. It's a follow-up. All right, we'll take you, my brother. Thank you so much. Just to be flexible. So we'll take that 4 in that order. Please just be brief in your question and be straight to the point. Thank you so much.
Greetings, everyone. So, the acting president mentioned that all NSFAS students that are still waiting for their funding should approach him. So, I wanted to ask if this also caters for the missing middle, as hope so. As if I remember correctly, it was not said. There hasn't been communication about the distribution.
So if I'm capturing your question correctly, you're asking about the distribution as to what's the way with the distribution, right?
Like the missing middle. I get it, you said the NSFAS students that are not funded should coach in. So does this cater for the missing middle as well? Because there hasn't been a communication about the distribution.
All right, next hand.
Greetings to the House at large. One Andrews, Chairperson of Council. Acting President, I acknowledge you. Good afternoon. My question is simple. It's alluded to what you just asked. The direct involvement of student finances in this regard with the missing middle, as well as those affected by the high certificate. Could we then have a timeline from you as to how we're going to be delegating and deliberating that issue, as well as looking into distributing or even making available the financial records of how the university is assisting those students the student populace, as well as those who are leading structures in this university. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next hand.
Thank you very much, facilitator of this meeting. I'm going to try to be short, like a mini scared, but just to be covered in themselves as always. Comrade, acting president, considering the issue that you are a member of the UFS student commander. In fact, the SRC, the CSRC is led by the UFS student commander. And the funding principle of the EFF student commander is not to champion only the interests of the student, but to champion also the interests of the workers within the institution where students are attending. I just want to, my question is that, what is the SRC doing in particular to champion the interests of the workers in this institution, cleaners, can name them, securities and everyone. The second question is that, Comrade Acting President, you know even yourself that the living conditions of our commuter students, can name Banvar of campus, they are not living conditions whereby they are good. So what is the SRC doing in terms of going and confronting those capital landlords that are exploiting and giving our students dilapidated living conditions? Because when you address them, we have never spoke about off-campus students, but the majority of the students who are in this campus, they are off-campus students. So it means the state of the campus is only based on what is being achieved by the SRC, but not what the SRC have failed. So we want you, acting president, to speak not only to claim his victims.
No, thanks so much, leadership. I think the question is I did state at the beginning that can you please be precise and straight to the point in asking your question. I think it's noted by now. And could you please get the last hand, which was raised in the venue?
Good evening, comrades. My question is relates to our president. Our president was unjustly removed from office. We voted for the president with an overwhelming majority on this campus. But that Morena was removed from office unjust. So we want to know what's the stance of the SRC with regards to that. We are saying, and we want to reassure everyone that we are saying hands off our president and we want him back in office. That Morena, we voted for him with an overwhelming majority. And we want him back in office. Management does not agitate us.
Thank you so much. Let us maintain. Thank you so much for that. That concludes our last round of questions. Then we will go to our follow-up. round, but then over to you, President, to just take the next.
No, thank you once more, Program Director, and thank you again for the constructive questions. So the first question was on the missing middle. Firstly, maybe I must highlight that I was in the institutional multi-stakeholder group forum last month in June, that is chaired by Prof. Peterson. So, in that meeting, I'll be blatantly honest with you, he was really not inspiring confidence about how this scheme of the missing middle loan is going to work out. He was also just as equally frustrated as we were that there's no clarity on the scheme. But then I'll take that question and bind it together with the higher certificate. But first I must mention that the higher certificate issue is a policy issue that is outlined in the guidelines, 2024 funding guidelines, where it's regarded as a separate course, and so the NSFAS doesn't do fund programs twice. Of course, that is just additional, and when it comes to reality, we all know that high certificate is always used as an entry course to the university and not a separate program. So it has to be in fighting with university management to realize and be realistic about and not be additional about things that they even know themselves. However, the SRC was in Cape Town over this past week to resolve many issues, and I believe that they will release comprehensive communication about all our issues that they raised with NSFAS as they were in their offices in this week. Okay, I think that covers the funding part because there are new developments that happened this week as the SRC was in Cape Town. So I'll move to, I was asked about my political affiliation, which deployed all the active SRCs, of course, on what's our stance on the workers. Firstly, we regard the cleaners as our mothers and fathers who provide sustenance for many young black kids in the townships who are just like us, you see, who came from impoverished and hopeless areas. Therefore, we always try as much as possible to join forces with them in whatever they try to do. There was a student workers forum that I'm not sure if it still existed or what, but what I know is that we have been visited by numerous unions in our offices to let us know of issues that they are facing and how we can assist them. Even when they are planning, even the strikes that they are planning ahead of this semester, they came to us and said, can you please mobilize a student for us to support us in our strikes, of which is what we're going to do, because as it was correctly mentioned that the organization affiliates with, which is the EFF, seriously takes the struggles of the workers takes them serious, let me just say this. And so as we remain committed to that call to share the struggle of the workers with the struggles of the students. As evidence to this, the EFFSC SRC 2021 pioneered the insourcing of security workers, which was successful, or cleaners were insourced by the university. So they eliminated the tendering system. So even the struggle still continues as we still fight to ensure that even cleaners, our securities are insourced and other outsourced activities, you see, so that our mothers have stable and permanent jobs and not this thing of having to switch between one contractor to the other, just like it was happening with Kamyaluza and with whatever the new security company is called, because it's a threat to their sustainable jobs and there are many issues associated with that. But then again, commit to you that the SRC shares those struggles and is committed to assist our parents to be secure in their sustenance. And then accommodation that are in a bad state. I think this was one of our first SRC projects last year. As soon as we entered office, SRC commuter submitted a project that she wants to conduct an inspection of all accommodations that are recognized by HRA, of which after that she compiled a very comprehensive report and sent it back to HRA about what she found. The pictures were quite scary when she shared them with me, but I think one of the results that came from that inspection was that, is it about 5 or I don't know how many accommodations that lost their accreditation. So what we're not going to be patient with is our students being subjected to poor living conditions just because they're desperate for accommodation. So it's not only in rhetoric, but it's been happening that many accommodations have lost the accreditation, which I think is also related to the KPA issue, because now, as exploitative as they are, they don't disclose to students that no, but are no longer accredited because of 1, 2, 3. So students still go there with the belief that no, these are accredited accommodations, whereas the SRC fought very hard to ensure that they lose the accreditation status. There are many, I think, service providers that still want to get recognition financially. Okay, and the last one was on the stance of the president. Even today, we were still hell-bent to say the suspension of the president was irrational. And I think it relates to everything that happened today, because the school was checking that what do you want to say to the students about the suspension of the president. Immediately after the president was suspended, we released a statement saying we're not going to fold our hands and allow them to unfairly persecute him like that. What's worse is that everything that was suspended for brought order and maintained calm within the campus. One of the charges was that he broke a door in financial aid. What happened after that door was broken? Financial aid was refusing to engage with us, broke the door and entered. Once we had that meeting, they agreed to use their own money, coffers of the school, to give students who were suffering with transport allowance at the time 600 so that they could commute from their places of residence to the school. And there was calm after, because those students were protesting. And how do they thank him for maintaining calm? They persecute him. The other charge was that he threatened with violence during registration. He threatened staff members with violence. There were many results, or rather, I want to say benefits, but carefully, because they were depriving students of being enrolled, saying the university is full. But after every demonstration that was done there, NAS faculty alone increased spaces by 350. Therefore, we believe that the president was unfairly persecuted. That's what he's saying, persecuted. And we also not willing to fold our arms when it happens. Therefore, we invited leadership structures today, and as the secretary puts it, influencers, because we believe that you are the people who can actually ensure that the student voices are heard qualitatively. The SRC cannot work in silos. No man is an island. When they say no man is an island, they mean the SRC. We cannot magically achieve everything on our own. That's why one of the aims of today's practice was to make sure that everyone who has a bit of influence in wherever they are, we come together and we collaboratively work together to ensure that the will of the students prevails. I hope I didn't speak like a politician, but I kind of captured and answered everyone accordingly. Open direct.
No, thank you very much, President, for that. And now we're moving into the last round of questions, which will serve as a follow-up round, meaning that you can only ask a question based on what has been spoken on from the previous speakers that asked questions. So you can't come and ask a new point at this moment in time. That opportunity has sailed. So with that said, I want to start with you, my brother, the question, a follow-up. We have number 1, follow-up, going once, going twice, and so. All right, so we have 2 follow-ups. We have 3 follow-ups. We have 4 follow-ups. So it's fine, colleagues, we'll take that 4 follow-ups. Let me just repeat myself one more time. I think I did read the rules very clearly as to how it must happen, and that please remain straight to your point. Do not include spices and all those things. Thanks so much. Starting in that order.
Several topics from Cox's House. I'm going back to the 600 issue. You said you're against the 600 deduction and you're trying to kill the elephant piece by piece. Should this elephant refuse to die, what alternative measures do you have put in place to really tackle this measure? Because I mean, 600 is a lot of money to be deducted from your allowance. You're going to be left with 1,000 rands. So what alternative measures do you have to actually tackle this issue?
No, thank you very much. Moving on to the next hand.
No, thank you very much, my question, my follow-up question is based on the KPA issue. The HRE, I think, and I would like to believe that they have processes that they do in order for a condition to get accredited. So now, how come that every year we deal with the same issue, and then they don't go back to the very same people that they're doing all the accreditation? Because those people, they need to be held accountable. Because how do you then accredit a place that is not suitable, and then still the people that are accrediting this visit are not held accountable, because it means the same mistakes or issues are going to face them on a yearly basis. So now, I believe also the SRC can do something to make sure that the people who are doing all of those processes, they can be held accountable, because we cannot be speaking about the same thing each and every year. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Next hand.
Thank you very much, Facilitator of the city, acting president, my brother. There's an issue here in this campus, and the issue of court integrity.
Sorry, leadership. Just to also, re-emphasize. This is a follow-up round. So I just want to re-emphasize before you continue.
Father, when must we ask questions? If we can't ask questions,
sorry?
Where must we ask questions if we can't ask questions?
This is a follow-up round.
I understand, but it's a follow-up question for me also.
My brother, if you don't have a follow-up question, please remain seated. Thank you so much. Final hand.
I'm ready, acting president. My follow-up. There's a pattern from management here. Our presidents are being unjustly removed from office. I thought I was not the first person. Even at Kwakwa campus, our president was removed from office there unjustly by management based on nonsensical charges. So we are saying now we want program of action from you. What must happen now? Because we cannot sit and hold our hands back when management keeps on removing our leaders. So we are saying,
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Program Director, and the questions was once more constructive. The 600 questions, I think my brother already wants us to preempt failing, which is something that is missing in our vocabulary and even manifesto. There's no failing there, you see. I'm still waiting for the day when one will say, okay, but let me not be political now. But what will happen exactly is that as we continue to engage with finance on these issues of 600s, we'll continuously communicate with students on where we are and how far are we with engagement. And usually what happens is that what cannot be solved in courtrooms can only be solved on the street. So I'm very happy that you are here today, because should we fail, that is the last alternative, right? And the level of aggression will be determined by the level of arrogance of picketing from the management. Accountability on HRA. I'll be very brutally honest with you. That has been a crisis. We've said with HRA management so many times, even with people who we know that they are the causes of the problems, we'll sit with them in a meeting like this and point at the person and say, but this is the person who's doing this thing, you see. They say, okay, we note it down, and nothing happens. The person still remains, even for yet another term. So it's really a crisis. And now when you look at the HRA, we're told it's a self-sustaining business whatsoever. It doesn't get subsidies from the school and whatsoever, you see. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily run on a governance basis, but the hierarchy there is something else, you see. So, but that doesn't mean that also we have given up. We'll continue to try other alternative means. If you should release petition from students to say, but this particular person is the one who's bringing us issues, we'll continue to do it. But I'm not promising an easy fight, because if we have failed, whereas we're pointing at a person looking at us in a room and risking our own safety, but to still fail, it's an issue. But we'll continue trying to hold those people accountable and doing whatever means we have to, because we'll never accept defeat. That one is a foundational philosophy. But I would admit that it's currently giving us issues, not only us. It's been years with people who are bogus and corrupt in HRA. What do you call these things? The contracts to their friends, to comrades, because even some comrades are involved in this thing of presenting students an accredited house, and after they've signed everything, they take them to another house that has all kinds of issues. So there's a lot that is happening there. But what's important is that we hold accountable the people who give the way for this to happen, which is a continuous process, of course, and that wouldn't be completed in a day. And I think steps by steps we are recording some progress. The last question was on the program of action about the president. What is the SRC saying must be done? At this current point, I would say the suspension of the president was a political assassination, and you can trust me that from the political end, it's being dealt with, it's being addressed. Now, the SRC is a governance structure. I'm trying to speak carefully before I say things that are bogus. It's very limited in line with the policies that give effect to its existence. But what is important is that this was a political assassination and it's being dealt with politically. But then that doesn't mean that students who are not in line with the president politically must then fold their hands, because the president's actions in the SRC were beneficial to all students, regardless of their political affiliation, interest, or participation. Therefore, what we as the SRC will continue to call on is that students, the persecution of the president was unfair, and if there's any clarion call on the ground, we are fully in support of it to show the world that the persecution was not procedural and the right thing must be done. So what's important in all of what I've said is that I'll keep on repeating that the SRC does not claim to know it all or have all solutions. But the reason why many of you were handpicked to be here today is because we would appreciate to see more of you in our offices coming to assist us with direction, showing us where we are wrong, where we can improve going forward, at least until our term is over, and then we can deliver qualitatively to our students, our constituents, and all the people that are looking at us and our influence to bring better change. Thank you, Program Director.
No, I think let's have a round of applause for our hopefully, colleagues, you all gain much insight into what's currently happening within the SRC for the term 2024, prospectively looking at the future also as to what is yet to come. We are reaching the final stages of our event tonight, and with that said, I wish to send high levels of gratefulness to all our attendees today, starting of course with the acting president for that fruitful presentation. Thank you so much, Mr. President, and of course alongside you, your secretary and other SRC members that are present today within the various portfolios. Thank you so much, colleagues, for availing yourselves today, and of course our VIP guests that honored the invite today. And lastly but not least, definitely not least, our chairpersons and student leaders that are here with us today. Believe me, without you guys, this event definitely wouldn't have been successful. It is through your patience and your willingness to be with us today that the event was able to reach the stage that it reached. But however, this is not the end, of course. More is yet to come, and some of you might know that some more events are coming from the SRC side that will look into what is then to be done. I think the question now to be answered going forth from what the President has presented is the question of what is to be done going forward. It's a very famous question. I'm sure some of you know it by now. But lastly, thank you so much, guys, for availing yourself. I think that is it from my side. My name is Sayed Lego, the CSRC Policy and Transformation for the Bloemfontein Campus 2023-2024. It was an honor, and thank you so much for availing yourself today.
Working on myself, I need to shine. Shorty falling in love with a star. Nike on my kicks, I need a ball. Missing on that ass, I got a call. Baby, come and tell me, would you ride with me? Ride with me. Maybe you could talk to me. Anything, baby, would you shine with me? Side with me. Girl, I know it's dangerous. I need your company. Baby, tell me, would you ride with me? Ride with me. Maybe you could talk to me. Anything, baby, would